Bryce Miller is a stud. Plus, we have trade targets up next on a Kokomo Friday.
Alcantara, Soroka, you look so good in Boca. Peralta, Manoa, bounce back for Aaron Nola. Giolito, Castillo, Yoshida, Mosu,
Happy Kokomo 4th of July, Chris's birthday Friday.
Hey.
Into fantasy baseball today on July 3rd. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers. Today on the show, we have trade targets who will provide fireworks in the second half of the season. I have 3 starting pitchers who might be cooked, and I'm fairly certain this is the best version of Bryce Miller that we have ever seen. Chris, the birthday boy. Good. Birthday here on Saturday. Happy birthday, bud. What is the plan? Actually, we know the plan. What song are you singing at karaoke?
I got a whole list of new ones that I've never done. We got Deborah by Beck. I'm gonna see if I can do a little falsetto.
Don't know that one.
Little Goodbye Earl by the Chicks.
Okay.
Everywhere by Michelle Branch. I might break out All My Life by Casey and JoJo. I got a whole list. We'll see what the vibe is, but that's obviously I'm doing karaoke for my birthday. Got some friends coming into town. Should be a good time. Looking forward to it. I went to a concert tonight, so there's lots
ready to go.
Oh yeah. I'm tired. I'm tired already.
So I knew Beck from just one song, Loser, obviously.
Yeah.
That's they're probably their most popular song. I don't know that I know another song by them. Maybe
Did you ever see Baby Driver? You probably didn't.
Baby Driver? I don't think so. I feel like you brought this up recently.
John Bernthal. It's an Edgar Wright. It's a great movie. Real fun. Jamie Foxx.
I have not seen it, but I remember looking this up recently because you asked me about it.
Real good movie, and that song's in there. It's a weird song. I don't know if I can do it. To be clear, it might be a disaster. He gets real high up in the register, but I'm going to try it.
If you sing All My Life by Casey and JoJo, please have your wife at least film part of it because that was my wedding song and I would love to see a video of you.
Oh man, I'm definitely doing it now.
Yes, that would be amazing. All right, let's talk about players of the night. We'll get to all the fun stuff a little bit later on. Let's jump in.
I don't believe it.
All right, Chris, we had some big pitching performances here on Thursday, and I will let you kick it off, man. Bryce Miller, dude looks like a stud.
Yeah, I think that was the wrong audio drop for this because I believe it. Bryce Miller is he's mowing people down. I mean, he had a career high in strikeouts in his previous start, 11, goes out this time around. Not as good strikeout stuff, but pitched even better. 7 shutout innings against the Angels, 8 strikeouts, no walks. That is 4 straight starts without a walk, during which time he has 33 strikeouts. The start before that, he did walk 2. He had 9 strikeouts in 6 shutout innings. The ERA is down to 171. The xERA is around 220. He is generating tons of strikeouts. He is barely walking anybody. He's not giving up any hard contact. I don't think Bryce Miller will pitch this well moving forward because if he does, that means he's the best pitcher in baseball, right? We're legitimately talking about he has a 30% strikeout to walk ratio entering this start. It's got to be even higher now. That's probably not going to sustain. I think that's like what Jacob deGrom was doing at his best. I don't think Bryce Miller's that good. I think he's really good though. And, he's doing this right now with the best 4-seamer of his career. It's always been a good one, but now he's just generating so much weak contact. The splitter has just become an absolute monster pitch for him. He threw it as his primary pitch today. What was it, 40%? Got 7 whiffs. Only 3 balls in play, only one of them hard hit. The 4-seamer, 83.6 mile per hour average exit velocity. The rest of the arsenal is all generating whiffs as well. It's he was a top 10 pitcher in fantasy in 2024, and we didn't really buy it. The strikeout rate was pretty pedestrian that season. I think we all looked at that and said, yeah, he's good, but probably more like a high threes or mid threes ERA guy. Last year, I just think he wasn't healthy. Bryce Miller's clearly healthy. And yeah, I think this is absolutely the best version of him we've seen. Look, he's probably more like a 3-something ERA guy, but now I think it's probably more like a 3.20 or better ERA moving forward. And yeah, I think Bryce Miller might just be a top 20 starting pitcher in fantasy, and maybe that might not be giving him enough credit.
I'm right there with you, man. The updated K- walk rate, by the way, 30.5%, trailing only Jacob Misiorowski on the season. So Bryce Miller, just absolutely fantastic stuff right now, throwing a ton of strikes, through 73% of his pitches for strikes in this one. And he has 7 or more strikeouts in 5 straight outings. Yeah. He has 2 total walks during that span. He is just ridiculous. The swinging strike rate last year, 10.6% when he wasn't right. Even when he was at his best, it was like around 11.5%. This year, it's up to 14% on the season. He's giving up more fly balls, but the average EV, the barrel rate are both career bests for Bryce Miller on the season. There will be some regression at some point, just like some of the underlying stuff, a 204 BABIP, a 99% left on base percentage. Like those things are not sustainable. So look, he's not going to have a sub-2 ERA. I think everyone understands that. But this is clearly the best version of Bryce Miller that we've ever seen before. Just hope that they don't really continue to do this piggyback thing.
It doesn't sound like they will.
They're saying this weekend it's going to be Emerson Hancock with Logan Gilbert. I just hope once we get to the All-Star break, it's like, let's just figure out who are our 5 best pitchers. If Hancock or Luis Castillo has to go to the bullpen, look, overall, it probably won't affect Bryce Miller that much, but if there's a start here or there where he has to be piggybacked or he's the piggyback guy, it just kind of puts a little bit of a cap on his ceiling for this season. But if they don't, he's amazing.
And the way Emerson Hancock is trending, that problem might take care of itself. It is a legitimate problem for the people who want to see Cade Anderson. I have a really hard time seeing how that works. They need 2 guys to get it out of the way. What?
Unless there's an injury.
I mean, but even then, they have 6 starting pitchers right now. They need like an injury and a trade or 2 in. Like it's really hard to make that work, unfortunately, because I'm as excited about Cade Anderson as anybody. But well, not necessarily. That's not true. I've seen some people say they think he's already like a top 10 pitcher in the majors, and I think we're taking it too far. But I am excited about Cade Anderson. It's hard to see where he fits in this rotation, unfortunately.
I updated the rankings over the past couple of days, and I have Bryce Miller at SP27. That just feels like it needs to be higher.
I moved him to 20 just now.
I was looking at SP20, exactly that range. That would put him just ahead of Nolan McLean, Kyle Harrison, and Parker Messick. Would you be on board? Kyle Harrison's tough because obviously he's having a breakout season too.
Yeah.
Like, those guys should just be back-to-back, both top 20 pitchers.
Yeah, I think Miller has a longer track record. I think there are, I don't know, are there less injury concerns with Miller? He did have bone spurs in his elbow that he didn't get removed last year, so that could become a problem at some point. I don't know. Yeah, I feel a little more confident in Bryce Miller. And for what it's worth in a points league, I think I'd have Nolan McLean a little higher than Miller as well. I just feel a little more confident about him going deep into games consistently. But yeah, on the whole, I think that's the right range. Whether you want to go 20 or 25, I'm not going to quibble, you know?
Yeah. And you mentioned some of the injury stuff that Bryce Miller dealt with last year, and we just talked, there will be some regression. So there is a sell high case to be made for Bryce Miller right now, but
you got to get
the way pitching is trending right now. And we've seen like even some of the best pitchers in baseball have had some blow up starts recently. I don't know that I would do it. Like if I have Bryce Miller on my team, I would have to really be blown away to think about moving him. And maybe I'll come to regret that, but I kind of just think I would hold on.
Go reach out to the Paul Skeens guy and see if you could do something like that. You know, Bryce Miller plus something for Paul Skeens. I think that's worth trying. Look, I understand there are some concerning signs there with Paul Skeens. The velocity's been down. The spin rate was way down in this start as well. It's still Paul Skeens, you know? Like, if he's right, you'd much rather have him than Bryce Miller. So
I don't want to overreact to the Paul Skeens thing. I sent you and Scott a tweet.
yeah, I read that.
Today, and let me see if I can pull it up. But
it was John Bowman, who used to work with us at CBS Sports, actually.
Yeah, so he pointed out one of the first things I asked when I walked into the high performance department with the Blue Jays, what's the best indicator of injury? It's four-seam fastball spin rate decrease. And basically, as the season has gone on, it just keeps dropping for Paul Skeens. And it was down to 1,987 RPM on the fastball.
Super low for a four-seamer, yeah.
On his in his most recent start on July 1st. And that was like pretty clearly the lowest of the season. Now, I don't want to alarm everybody.
It's one start.
But, you know, it is something that is trending down, his spin rate. So, like, we're trying to all collectively figure out what is going on with Paul Skeens. And right now, that is one thing that is standing out. His velocity has been dropping a little bit, and his spin rates have been dropping as well. I hope it's nothing. I hope it's not injury related. But, you know, whenever you throw that hard, you can never rule it out. So
sure.
We've something to monitor. We'll pack that one away for Paul Skeens. My player of the night is going to be Ian Seymour, who was great once again, this time at the Royals. 6 innings of 1-run ball, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. He had 15 whiffs on 83 pitches, 7 on that sweeper, 4 on the fastball, 3 on the changeup. And he used his sweeper and his four-seam more in this one. Both of those pitches were really good for him. And he's just looked really good. In 5 games, 3 starts since being stretched out recently. 2.52 ERA, a .76 whip, 27 strikeouts to 6 walks over 25 innings. And I mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. I liked Ian Seymour a lot this offseason. And then I was pretty bummed when I found out he was, you know, going to be in the bullpen for the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, I understand things change throughout the course of the season and plans change and people get hurt. And so obviously Ian Seymour has found his way into the rotation here. 34% rostered. He's a spark for those who play in points leagues, lined up for 2 starts against the Yankees and the Mariners next week. So absolutely need to add him for those matchups. But I kind of just think Ian Seymour is a legit good pitcher. And I know that we're kind of like reacting in real time to all these waiver wire pitchers we've talked about recently, the Troy Meltons and Joey Cantillos and Tatsuya Imais.
Yeah, some of them have fallen on hard times.
I think I would put Ian Seymour at the top of that list.
Yeah. Well, I think Troy Melton's really close. I would put the two of those.
Rogers has been really good lately too.
Yeah, I would put Melton and Seymour certainly ahead of Imai. I think we're done with that one. And that was something we talked about when he started pitching well, was like, well, there wasn't really a good explanation for it besides he started pitching well, you know, which is always hairy. Like Bryce Miller, velocity's up. He's been good before. I think it's just he's healthy. Tatsuya Imai was like, well, you know, you can tell yourself the story about him getting settled in and not being comfortable early on, but 2 of his last 4 starts have been disasters. So I think you can be pretty skeptical of it. Seymour, we had the really successful run last season. Obviously, this season was a little rockier, especially out of the bullpen, but he's looked really good since getting back to the rotation. He misses a lot of bats. He's got a 4-seamer that limits damage. He's got a changeup that misses bats. The sweeper has all of a sudden become a real weapon after he barely used it last year. I think Ian Seymour's good. And I think there will be some headaches being a member of the Rays because he got to sit through 6 innings, but it was only like 70. That was 83 pitches.
They let him go a little bit lately here.
Yeah. His previous outing, he went up to like almost 90, didn't he? So yeah, I think Ian Seymour, look,
yeah. He threw 90 pitches in his last outing, 80 or more pitches in 3 straight. So that's pretty encouraging, I would say.
It's really tough. Because all of these pitchers we have very small sample sizes on, and I don't want to just flip-flop back and forth and react to every good or bad start and say, he's a must roster, and now he's a must try. Like, I don't want to do that, but you kind of have to. Like, that's the whole thing with pitchers is their fortunes can change so quickly, positively or negatively, that you do kind of have to overreact when they show interesting skills. I'm not talking about like a Michael McGreevy where he's outperforming his peripherals by like 2 runs. But when guys are showing legitimate skills, like Ian Seymour is, missing a lot of bats, limiting hard contact, I think there is value in just overreacting, even knowing that, yeah, the likeliest outcome is this is just a pretty good pitcher rather than a dominant one.
Yeah. Look, it's a good point that you bring up too. Like, I definitely don't want to flip-flop too much, but that's why, if people have ever wondered, we talk about pitching more than anything else on this podcast on a daily basis, because that's what you could take more away from on a daily basis, is so much can change in one start for a pitcher, where not that much can change for a hitter in just one game, right? Like, they're going to play 162 of them, and most pitchers are only going to make 30 starts in a season. So there's much more to react to on a daily basis with pitchers than it is with hitters, unless, of course, you're Dansby Swanson and you're putting up like 3 homers and 8 RBI in a game. But that is why we tend to focus a lot on pitching here. The updated stats, by the way, for Ian Seymour, he's now made 9 career starts, 3.16 ERA, 0.98 whip, 10.7 K per 9, 1.9 walks per 9. So, and that dates back to last year. So whenever he's been given an opportunity to start, he's looked really good.
And was excellent throughout his minor league career. Huge strikeout numbers, like a 34% strikeout rate guy last year. So yeah, he might just be good.
All right, before we hit our first break, just a reminder, the Week 16 sleepers and 2-star pitcher articles from Scott are live on the website, and our FBT Express episode covering Week 16 will be out on Saturday, July 4th. I know many people will be busy, but check in on that either on the 4th of July, the next day, before setting your lineups here on Monday. Let's take our first break. When we return, we will hit the news and notes. We'll do that right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
Welcome back, Fantasy Baseball Today. Those did not see, we were just in a commercial break. I had to run, take my cat, and throw her out of the room. I told you,
not literally throw,
No, gently place her out of the room, but I was experimenting today because when I started the podcast, she was napping in the corner. I usually never let her in the room while I'm podcasting because I just don't know what she's going to do. She's kind of a wild card. And then she started, once I started up and I'm yelling and I'm screaming about Ian Seymour, she's, scratching my closet and she's doing all this kind of crazy stuff. So
what's with the closet? Why do they always want to go in the closet? What's up? They
just want to do everything they're not supposed to do. So if you have a closet that's locked, they're going to try to get in it.
Meanwhile, I've got a mosquito in here. This is a disaster. What is wildlife doing to us?
Here we go. This is a Friday podcast for you. Let's hit the news and notes. Julio Rodriguez left in the 3rd inning after taking a throw off the back of his helmet earlier in the game. So I'm sure he'll go for some type of concussion testing, something to watch there with Julio Rodriguez. We both have him as a player to buy heading into the second half of the season, so hopefully he's all right. Victor Robles also left early with a right forearm injury, so he came in for J-Rod, and then he also left with an injury, which resulted in Luke Raley playing center field. I was watching this game. I saw a fly ball to center field. I said, who the heck is playing center field? This is crazy. Luke Raley. Yeah, that one caught me off guard, but I guess it just had nobody else to use, so that's what happened. But yeah, hopefully J-Rod is all right. Wilson Contreras and Cade Cavalli were both given 7-game suspensions for their benches clearing fiasco earlier in the week. And I saw Contreras got a fine as well for throwing his helmet. It's interesting because I don't know. I haven't seen if either of them or both of them are going to appeal. But Cade Cavalli was supposed to be a 2-star pitcher for next week. So depending on when he starts this suspension, he probably will not be a 2-star pitcher next week.
Yeah, I don't think he will be because suspensions are usually lowered in appeals. I won't say always, but it feels like that happens pretty regularly. But
sometimes it takes a few weeks to hear back from it, though.
But they're never taken away. And I think whatever you do is you just appeal until his next turn in the rotation is up, and then drop the appeal and start serving the suspension after he makes his next start because the All-Star break's coming up anyway. So you could end up having him miss effectively 0 starts. So I would guess that's probably what they're going to do. And I think deservedly for both of them suspended. Miles Michaelis was also suspended 5 games, and someone else is suspended for a couple games as well.
All right, Munetaka Murakami, we kind of have an update. He's viewed as day-to-day with that hamstring injury. Apparently, he's sprinting at about 85%, but they haven't yet revealed when he will go out on a rehab assignment. So we're starting to hear a little bit more about it. We're getting, numbers, 85% health at this point, but he'll need a rehab assignment. My guess is he's probably back after the All-Star break, just kind of conservatively guessing here on Murakami. Dustin May left after recording just 2 outs after taking a line drive off of his right ankle. X-rays came back negative, and unfortunately, he was charged with 5 earned runs on 5 hits and 2 walks before leaving. It's been a really weird go of things lately for Dustin May. I don't think people should drop him, Chris. I understand that he was on this crazy run, which was most likely unsustainable for Dustin May. But his last couple starts, like one of them came after the complete game where he threw a bunch of pitches, and then he had a back injury, and now he left early with this ankle, and it was a bad start. So I think people are going to look at the game log and just kind of think, maybe I could just get rid of Dustin May. I think I would still hold on to him.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a league where I just traded him for Caleb Killian because
you must need saves.
I really need saves. I have like 18 saves on the season, and that's my biggest drag. So I did make that trade. It's also just a league where that guy's annoying to deal with. I've talked about this in the past with you, maybe not on the air, but
you can't just give in though, Chris.
I know I'm bad about that, but whatever. But that is to say, I think Dustin May is mostly just a guy. So I had to choose between him or Roki Sasaki. I'm not sure I made the right choice there. Roki Sasaki looks pretty bad too, but I think Sasaki has more upside at least. So I don't think Dustin May is certainly as bad as the 11 earned runs in 2 and 3 in the third innings. I think over the last 2 starts, he's not that bad, but
yeah,
I don't think he's as good as the 13 starts prior to that either. I think it's like weird the way it's worked out, but his overall numbers are probably not that far off from where I'd expect him to be. I guess his ERA is probably super high.
I didn't actually write down what the ERA is up to after this one.
Like 480 now, right? Yeah. Oh, 480 exactly. That was good.
Wow. I think he's better than a 480 pitcher. I think the most likely outcome is that he is a streamer type, but he has made changes this season to the pitch mix, and he has a really, really good defense behind him with the Cardinals. Yes. So I still think we're going to get a lot of very useful starts from Dustin May in the second half of the season. Connolly Early, who went on the IL Wednesday, was diagnosed with a left posterior elbow inflammation, not with just left posterior elbow.
Yeah, I guess that would be A. He only has one left posterior elbow.
That's true. Do you have anything on this injury type, Chris, or how long we might be looking at a timeline for Connolly Early?
I mean, it sounds like there was no structural damage. So I would think something like a month, just anytime you're dealing with any kind of elbow, even relatively minor, that's probably the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts was back in the lineup after missing Wednesday with wrist soreness. He had at least a couple of hits in that game when I last checked. Salvador Perez was out of the lineup Thursday due to a sore left elbow. Brandon Nimmo was out again, making that 4 games in a row with that AC joint sprain in his left shoulder. Chris Bubich received a cortisone injection Thursday and will be shut down from throwing for 7 to 10 days before a reevaluation. I'm starting to get the feeling we might not get anything else from Chris Bubich the rest of the way. Emerson Hancock is scheduled to piggyback Logan Gilbert on Saturday, but they said the same thing last week, so who knows? Grant Holmes will start Friday against the Mets, even though it sounded just a couple days ago like he would remain in the bullpen, but now scheduled to start on Friday. Connor Prelip will have his next turn in the rotation skipped as the Twins monitor his workload. And Yankees pitching prospect Carlos Legrange was placed in the IL at AAA with a right shoulder injury. Chris, when it rains, it pours. It is pouring on the Yankees right now. Not only are they on a 7-game losing streak, but arguably their 2 top prospects, maybe not arguably, but Lombard and Carlos Legrange are both in the IL in the minors right now. So it's
haven't the Rays won 8 straight?
That sounds right. I think The Yankees over the past week have gone from 3 games up to like 4.5 out.
Yeah, I think the Rays have not lost since the last time the Yankees won.
It's crazy, man. Those two sides have kind of just been flip-flop in first place all season. It's been pretty crazy. 3 starting pitchers who might be cooked. And this first one, Chris, I think I know what you're going to say. But this is now bordering on a really long sample for Framber Valdez, who at the Rangers, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs allowed, 2 walks, only 1 strikeout, only 3 whiffs, only a 17% CSW. This was against the Rangers lineup that did not have Corey Seager, did not have Wyatt Langford in it. And that curveball just remains a massive problem. He had just 1 whiff on his curveball, just a 10% whiff rate. The whiff rate overall on that pitch is way down this season from 44% last year, 31% this year. 10 hard hits in this outing. And his last 28 starts now, dating back to last season, it is a 4.93 ERA and a 144 whip, 7.1 K per 9, 3.4 walks per 9. He might be cooked.
Might be. Yeah, he might be. I don't think so, but he might be. Yeah. So entering this start over his previous. Okay, let's just do the whole. Let's look at it. All right, he's got a 4.29 ERA, 4.29 FIP over his last 18 starts. Yeah, he's had worse stretches, or at least comparable stretches. He had a stretch in between 2024 and 2023 where he had 18 starts with a 4.23 FIP and a 4.51 ERA. He had a similar stretch a little later that season with a 4.10 ERA. It just, I don't know. This is not a total outlier for Framber Valdez's career. And it's always peaks and valleys. It's always bad, good, bad, good. And so it's possible that at 32 years old, this was one of the reasons I thought he was a risky free agent. It's possible that at 32 years old, he's just taken a huge step back.
It feels like many other teams also thought he was a risky free agent.
Yeah.
That's why he kind of settled on this deal here. Settled, he's still making a lot of money, but it was, I think, a 3-year deal that had player options or team options after each year of the deal. So, I mean, it's far from a certain thing. Entering the offseason, all the talk was that he would get a 5, 6, 7-year deal, right? That's what he was looking for. Ranger Suarez got the 5-year deal, all of it guaranteed. Framber Valdez did not get that. You know, he's got this kind of, 1+1+1 deal that a lot of players have been settling for. So it just, I don't know if there's any correlation or reason for why his second half was so bad last year. His first half has now been really bad. Like, typically he does have stretches where he struggles. Now, maybe his second half is going to be really good, like he was in the first half of last year. But there is nothing in the underlying numbers that say that is coming for Framber.
Just the name.
Yeah.
It's just the name and the track record. And that might not be enough. You know, when we talk about hitters, hitters are a lot less mercurial over the course of, on any given day, obviously anything can happen with any hitter, but over the course of weeks and months and years, they tend to be a little more predictable than pitchers. And so I'm a lot more confident in Trey Turner bouncing back than I am Framber Valdez, right? And Trey Turner's already kind of started it. So I can't say I'm 100% certain that Framber Valdez is bouncing back, but if someone dropped him in my league, I would definitely add him. And if someone called me up and nobody's calling on trade offers, but, offered me him for Michael McGreevy or something, yeah, I'd absolutely do that.
Yeah, I mean, something crazy like that. But I don't know that I would, unless it's a really, really low buy low trade, I don't know that I would confidently give up like a, I don't know, top 50 or top 60 starting pitcher to get Framber Valdez right now.
Yeah, I would want to buy low.
Lower, yeah.
Yeah, but like, okay, well, Ryan Weathers. Would you rather have Ryan Weathers or Framber Valdez?
Yeah, I would take the shot on Valdez.
Jose Soriano.
I'd
rather have Valdez.
I would take the shot on Valdez as well.
Reed Detmers.
I don't think I would give up my Detmers to get Valdez.
So the thing with Detmers is the underlying numbers are a lot better than Valdez.
I know the track record. Like,
we don't have any
Reed Detmers, but he's also just pitched a lot better than
Sure, yeah, no, I get it.
Line numbers are much better too.
Those are guys in the 50 to 60 range for me. So like, I'm looking at it like Casey Mize, I would not, but that's also, I just need to move him up. He's just way too low in my rankings. I hadn't updated it.
I moved him up to like 45. I have him right behind Valdez now.
That was what I was thinking. But yeah, I think Valdez probably needs to be ranked in more like the 35 to 40 range now.
Yeah, I think I have him just outside my top 40. Sorry.
Yeah. And I've been pretty stubbornly keeping him inside the top 30. So
he's 71% started. He gets the Athletics next week. They're 8th in WOBA against lefties. I think if you can avoid it, I would try to.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's talk about Davis Martin, who looks like it might be falling apart here at the Guardians, who, again, on paper, that should be a good matchup right now. We've been saying that a lot lately. Maybe it's like, I don't know, those pesky Guardians are just going to keep proving us wrong. But 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks to 0 strikeouts here for Davis Martin. And it's been a tale of 2 seasons. His first 11 starts, 2 ERA, 0.99 whip. The biggest standout skill for him was 1.9 walks per 9, and his location plus was 100 during that span. His last 6 starts, including this one, 5.65 ERA, 1.88 whip, nearly 5 walks per 9, and 92 location plus. So clearly the gains that he made, and I know you've talked a lot about this, Chris, where like, I don't know how sticky that is from like start to start or month to month, right? Just someone having command and not, but we did have a longer track record where Davis Martin was not a very good command pitcher. So I don't know. Is he cooked? Is it falling apart?
Probably. Yeah. What's funny is the last 6 starts have been bad. 5.65 ERA, you said?
Yep.
It's 2.5 bad starts, really. Yeah, out of those 6. Because today, that was a bad start, 5 walks. But really, in terms of their ERA, it's the 6 runs and 4 2/3, and then 9 runs and 3 1/3. He actually had only allowed 1 earned run in 3 of his 5 starts before this one.
Yeah,
combined. So
when it's going bad, it's going really bad.
Yeah, when it's going, but I think the key thing to keep in mind with Davis Martin is he's never been good before this season. I don't want to be harsh. He's a major league pitcher. There's value in that, but like he's never been a fantasy relevant guy. And all of a sudden he was for 2 months. 2 months isn't a very long time. And this was a situation where the underlying numbers largely backed it up. Sometimes guys just get hot for a couple of months, and that happens with hitters, but it happens with pitchers a lot more. And when you don't have something concrete, when you don't have something tangible to grab onto, a big change in the pitch mix or a big change in the quality of the stuff. And there were some changes in the pitch mix for Martin. The cutter, the curveball were both up, but it wasn't like completely new pitches or completely new look or 2 miles per hour velocity. So it was mostly just that he was pitching really well for a couple months. And sometimes guys do that, but there wasn't much tangible to hold on to. So yeah, I think at this point you can probably give up on Davis Martin, but it's not a shock if he goes on another good run here.
He's 95% rostered still. He's only 73% started. He gets the Red Sox next week, who might be without Wilson Contreras, but their lineup has looked better as of late, but on the season, they haven't been a good lineup. I would not start Davis Martin the start that he's coming off of in his recent stretch. You talk about dropping him, right? Like, would you drop him for Ian Seymour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Drop him for those other names too, like Trevor Rogers and Cantillo and Troy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Troy Melton, especially.
All right. Let's talk about Roki Sasaki, who another just terrible outing against the Padres. 3 innings, 6 runs allowed, 3 homers in this one as well. The biggest problem for him is like walks and home runs. It's a terrible combination, right? Like 7 hard hits in this game, only threw 60% of his pitches for strikes. On the season, 3.8 walks per 9, 2 homers per 9, which is just massive. And his last 4 starts, 10.06 ERA, 1.88 whip. I'm not ruling out the possibility that Roki Sasaki can figure things out again later on in the season and have a stretch where he is useful for fantasy. But right now, he is very not useful. And I think he's an easy drop at 68% rostered.
Yeah, I mean, 5.40 ERA on the season now. The xERA is bad. He's never had a sustained stretch as a good major league starter. So I remain intrigued. He is a name I will keep an eye on as the season continues to move on. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to hang on to him right now.
All right, let's take a break. Our final break. I've got some waiver names. We've got trade targets for the second half of the season. We'll do all that right after this.
This isn't just combat. It's cinema.
Are you not entertained?
The new home of UFC, Paramount Plus.
Welcome back, Fantasy Baseball Today, and you are probably tired of hearing about these hitters. I think I have mentioned them every day this week. It's kind of a running bit, at least for Cedric Mullins, who I will mention once again, by the way. As Merlin Valdez, he keeps on hitting 2 for 4 with a triple, 3 RBI, 9 games since being recalled. He is 15 for 30, hitting 500, 4 homers, 10 RBI. Clearly very hot right now. Not sure exactly how sustainable it is, but 36% rostered, someone who comes with prospect pedigree. I think in all 5 outfielder leagues, at least, Chris, like, you need to take a shot here just in case he's, some big breakout the rest of the way.
Yeah, likeliest outcome is this is a Rhys Hines situation where he just gets hot for a couple weeks and it falls apart. But the strikeout rate is down to 33%. That's still too high, but I think a couple days ago it was 40%. So we're starting to see the improvement there. He hits the ball hard. He was productive in the minors. I think a 5 outfielder league, I think that's the right way to put it. Just check and see.
Tommy Edman, a name we have also been mentioning a lot lately, went 2 for 4 with a walk, 2 runs, and an RBI here on Thursday. He also added his first stolen base of the season, and originally was not in the lineup, but I saw Alex Freeland got scratched, so Edman gets thrown in there. He's 35% rostered. The Dodgers have 6 games next week, and Scott has the Dodgers with the 5th best hitter matchups for next week. So I think he's been kind of a streaky hitter the past couple of years. Maybe he's just finally healthy. I like the fact that he ran here, Chris, but if nothing else, I like using Tommy Edman for next week.
Yeah, I think the speed is the key thing. We talked about him the other day, and Tommy Edman's career high OPS is 724. This is not a guy who has ever really had any fantasy appeal when he wasn't running at a decent clip. I guess last year he had that stretch. Was it early on last year we hit for a bunch of power?
Yeah, I think it was like 6 home runs in the first month.
But outside of that, he's just never been a strong enough hitter to be fantasy relevant without being at least a 20 steal guy. So that's what I want to see if he's going to run more. But it was good to see here at least.
Yeah. Who do you like more between Valdez and Edman? Just taking a shot.
Probably Valdez. I'll go. Admittedly, it's just the mystery box appeal, but I think the likeliest outcome for neither is that they're very good, but Edman's likeliest outcome is probably likelier.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Andy Rodriguez keeps doing his thing, 1 for 4 with a walk and his 5th home run. Again, he's only started 4 of the past 8 games. Seems like the Pirates don't want to completely give up on Henry Davis, which I get. He was first overall pick. So I think he's still going to work in here and there. But again, 2 catcher leagues. It's an interesting time because we've had Andy Rodriguez pop up and Joe Mack has looked really good over the past month or so. And Cooper Ingle getting called up. I do think Andy Rodriguez is at the top of that 2 catcher league discussion. If you need to add one right now, Cedric Mullins. I mean, it's kind of just, it's like a running bit now at this point, but he keeps doing stuff. Like last 36 games, he's hitting 287 with 8 homers, 5 steals, and OPS over 850. He's got 7 games next week. There's only 1 lefty on the schedule. To me, he's clearly behind Esmeralyn Valdez and Tommy Edman, but like a hot hand, got a bunch of games next week, only 1 lefty on the schedule. Rays are hitting well right now. Like,
why not?
Deeper league, I could see it.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly likely that Cedric Mullins remains a starting caliber player moving forward, but he's clearly playing like one right now. So why not add him and see? Like he has a bad week, you drop him. But I don't think there's any reason not to.
I know you'll love this one, Chris. Maybe the Rays are working their magic on Cedric Mullins once again.
Maybe.
Carter Jensen, not much you could do with this in terms of waiver wire, but he hit his 13th home run last 22 games. He actually just had a 20 game hit streak or 21 game hit streak came to an end his previous game out. Then here hits another home run, but last 22
leadoff homer too.
337 batting average, 6 home runs, 17 runs scored, 19 RBI, and OPS around 1,000. He hit that home run off of Ian Seymour as well.
Mm-hmm.
His numbers are actually better against lefties this year than they are against righties, which I always like to see that from a young hitter. If you show your team that you can hit as a lefty against lefties, there's nothing else that you can do to make yourself an everyday player than that. And that is exactly what Carter Jensen has been doing. So kudos to him. Looks like he's taken off. A lot of people had him as a breakout this season. Other waiver wire hitters that I have here, Jake McCarthy. He has been hot for a while now. Last 30 games, he's hitting .317, 5 homers, 4 steals, an OPS right around 900. He's 63% rostered, so that number has really climbed up there. 7 road games next week, 3 lefties on the schedule. I don't know. Not sure about using Jake McCarthy for next week, but
he's actually been pretty good against lefties, but it's mostly BABIP.
Yeah. I think Scott mentioned yesterday that he's actually been pretty good on the road this year as well. Like he doesn't have the crazy home road splits.
Yeah, 767 OPS on the road, 851 at home before this.
Yeah, 884 now at home, but 767 on the road, not terrible.
Yeah.
I
don't think he really needs to be rostered any more than 63%. You've got this is the first week where they've played 5 games at Coors Field. That's probably why he's reached this high water mark. I can't imagine really adding him in a points league outside of weeks when they're all at home.
Yeah.
So it's strictly a roto thing, and I think 63% roster is probably about the ceiling.
Chandler Simpson is coming back around here a little bit. He just picked up another steal. Last 11 games, he's hitting .400 with 6 steals. Also 3 more caught stealing during that span. He has 20 steals and 11 caught stealing this season, which is just goes to show that it's more than just speed, right? Mm-hmm. It's like there are things that you need to pick up on just to be a good base runner and a good base stealer, right? Like Josh Naylor is the complete opposite.
He's
right?
no Josh Naylor.
Chandler Simpson had Josh Naylor's like instincts on the base paths. Who knows how many bases he would steal, but he's down to 69% rostered. I think that number is fine. I don't think he needs to be rostered in points leagues, but probably still should be rostered in all category leagues. The playing time has ticked back up for Simpson as well, so that's good for him. One more deep league outfielder here is Nathan Church, who hit his 7th home run. He has homered in 2 of his last 3 games, and in 21 games since returning, he's hitting .271, 2 homers, 10 runs, and a steal. Single-handedly keeping Joshua Baez down in the minors right now, I guess. 9% rostered. Chris, would you put Church behind Mullins and Edman and Esmeralyn Valdez?
Yeah, I would put him behind all those guys.
All right, some waiver wire starting pitchers outside of Ian Seymour, who again I think would be at the top of this list I'm about to mention. But Walbert Arena, nearly unhittable at the Marlins, 5 2/3, 1 hit, 1 run, took a no-hitter into the 6th inning, 4 more walks, 6 strikeouts, 17 whiffs on 107 pitches. And we were talking beforehand, Chris, he gives me Edward Cabrera vibes where his secondary stuff is so good. His 4-seamer is actually pretty good too, but his sinker just gets hit really hard. And I think it's just really difficult for him to command his fastball and sinker. And so that's why he does throw his secondary pitches as much as he does. But 58% rostered at the Rangers next week, I kind of just feel like that number should be higher, and I would be all right using him in that matchup.
Yeah, I guess. So here's the problem. Over the past 5 seasons, entering this one, so 2020, 21 to 25, so the past 5 seasons, there have been 1 starting pitcher who qualified for the ERA title and had a higher walk rate than Walbert Arena's current 12.1%.
Can I guess who it is?
Sure.
Blake Snell.
Blake Snell in 2023, when was that the year he won Cy Young?
I just remember because he led the league in walks and he won Cy Young in the same season.
Yep. And the thing is that if you go through the pitchers there have been 5 pitchers in those 5 years who have had a walk rate over 11%. And they've all been good, actually. It's Kodai Senga in 2021, Lance McCullers in 2021. Charlie Morton in 2023, Gavin Williams in 2025. They all had an ERA of 3.64 or lower. The thing there is you basically have to strike out a ton of batters and run really hot in terms of your results on balls in play to survive with a walk rate that high. Waiver is doing that right now, and he's generating a ton of weak contact on the ground. He's got a pretty good strikeout rate, and he's doing it right now. It's just really hard to do this for a full season.
It's a fine line. It's a very fine line.
There's a reason that the next two are Jose Soriano, who has had stretches where he was good, but it's just really hard to be an effective major league pitcher with a walk rate over 10%. I'm not saying Waiver needs to be dropped because of his walk rate or anything. I think even adding him, he's 58% rostered. I think that's fine. It's just
I like the matchup next week too.
At Texas, but it's hard for me to fully buy in with a 12% walk rate.
Fair. Yeah, I totally get that. Hurston Waldrop, a mixed bag in his first start here against the Cardinals. 5 1/3, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts to 1 walk, 9 whiffs on 76 pitches here. 24% rostered. I'm not sure how the Braves rotation will kind of shake out and how they're going to space things out, but he could be a 2-star pitcher next week. It could just be 1 start at the Pirates. I think in deeper leagues where Hurston Waldrop is available because, he's only 24% rostered. I would take a shot in a deeper league and just see where it goes. I'm not sure where they're on like 12 teamers yet, but deeper leagues, I'm pretty intrigued.
This is Waldrop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking up to see why is it so hard to find this? It should be easier. Okay. Because he barely threw his splitter in this one, which is weird because that's kind of always been his go-to pitch. I think it was his 3rd most used pitch in this one. He only threw it 4th most used pitch. He only threw it 7 times on 76 pitches. That hadn't been the case entering this. He had thrown it about 17% of the time in the minors, 27% in his first his first appearance. So I don't think there's any change there. I think he just didn't have the feel for the splitter, and I like the way he bounced back. He had the tough first inning, gave up 3 runs, but ends up after that 4+ innings, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. I think you're pretty happy with that. So I think Waldrop's talented.
Yeah,
24% rostered. I think I'd drop Roki Sasaki for him.
Yeah,
if that's the best guy available.
Yeah, just see what's there with Waldrop. I mean, this was a former 1st-round pick. He looked really good down the stretch last year as well, and there will be inconsistency. We say this a lot with splitter pitchers. Like it's a very hard pitch to command, but last year that splitter was
a good pitch.
Waldrop, and he had other pitches here that kind of picked him up. His sinker worked really well. His curveball looked really, really good for Waldrop. His curveball was good last year too. Like his splitter and curve are 2 legit pitches. It's just, can his sinker be just okay enough? Like, can it not get hit really like too hard to the point where it's just like serviceable with those other 2 really good secondary pitches? That to me and the command are the biggest questions, but I'm intrigued by Hurston Waldrop. And then the last name here is Jared Jones, who had a better result at the Phillies. 4 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, 11 whiffs on 73 pitches. I thought it was a step in the right direction, Chris. I think we still need to see a good bit more before we're actually re-adding or using him in our lineups.
He still only had 1 start in 7 with more than 77 pitches. That was when he got to 81 in his previous start. And that was a start where he pitched into the 5th inning and then they pulled him mid-inning when his pitch count got too high. So I think if he had finished that inning with 75 pitches, that would have been it for him. They just seem to have a pretty hard ceiling on how many pitches they're going to let Jared Jones throw. Maybe that'll change in the second half. Maybe that's the plan. But right now, they're still basically piggybacking him with Carmen Majinski, and it's hard to trust Jared Jones for fantasy as long as that's the case.
All right, here we are. If you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, where are the trade targets? That's what the thumbnail says we're going to be talking about. Well, it took us 49 minutes, but here we are. We have players who will provide fireworks in the second half of the season. Again, happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Stay safe this weekend. I know things can get a little bit crazy 4th of July weekend, but these are players that you should be looking to buy that we think are going to have really, really big second halves of the season. And with that, Chris, why don't you give me a couple of hitters first that you'd be looking to buy low on that you think could go off?
So a bunch of obvious names. Ronald Acuna, whenever he's healthy, he was one of the biggest underperformers by ex-WOBA before the injury. Fernando Tatis, obviously, we're starting to see him pick it up. I think we already have. Julio Rodriguez, one of the most obvious ones. He's always better in the second half than the first, and I think that'll continue to be the case. Kyle Tucker, we're already seeing it. He's reached base, I believe, 9 straight plate appearances as of Thursday night. I know it's been a disaster season for Kyle Tucker, and a lot of people have, I think, given up on him. I don't know, dude. He's still 29 years old. He still has this incredible track record. He's still on the Dodgers. Like, as bad as it's been, he's still on like a 90-run, 87 RBI pace. If he hits anywhere close to himself, he's going to be a monster in the second half. And we're starting to see he had 4 hits and a walk today. He had 4 walks on Wednesday night. I think Kyle Tucker is going to be much better in the second half than the first. I'll take, set the OPS at 830 in the second half. He's at 743 right now. I'll take the over on that. But my actual pick is Manny Machado, who I think we've already started to see it. Over his past 21 games after Thursday, he has 6 homers. His strikeout rate below 20%. Average exit velocity up to 91 miles per hour. Batting average has been a little low, but the overall production starting to look like what you expect to see from Manny Machado. And it's Manny Machado. That's part of my optimism. It's just, Manny Machado is going to be better than this moving forward. That won't be true eventually. He is 33 years old. Age catches up to everyone, but I'm going to bet on this dude being a 790 OPS, 25 to 30 homer guy in the second half of the season, because that's what he almost always is.
If you look at his pace numbers in terms of homers and run production, it's actually right there. The only thing that's lagging is I don't know that he's going to run much anymore, but the batting average has just been it got off to such a bad start that despite him hitting well over the last 20 games, it's still just not enough to pick it up to where it should be. I'm not sure he will get it to where it needs to be by the end of the season, but all we care about now as, looking to trade for someone is that can he hit to his numbers the rest of the way? Can he hit to a 260 batting average the rest of the way? Probably could.
193 BABIP. That is just, I don't care how, either a 193 BABIP is a total fluke or you are not a major league caliber hitter. And nothing about what Manny Machado is doing so far suggests that he is no longer a major league caliber hitter. So I think he'll hit, maybe it's more like 260 moving forward. Okay. We're in the decline phase. That's reasonable, but the power's been there. He's not striking out significantly more than in the past. I think Manny Machado is going to be the guy you expect him to moving forward.
All the projection systems on Fangraphs have Machado for between a 240 and 260 batting average, 13 to 15 home runs, and 40 to 50 runs in RBI.
It's a must-start player.
So, yeah. Hitters that I'm looking to buy as well. You mentioned a few of them, right? Like Julio just makes so much sense. He goes off in the second half, assuming that there's no concussion issues going on here. But I did look up the last 30-day ex-WOBA leaderboard. And Julio has actually been really unlucky over the last 30 days as well. He's hitting 258, 340 slug, 307 WOBA last 30. And his expected stats, 308 XBA, 503 X slug. Underperforming that by 160 points and a 382 X WOBA, which is 75 points off. So he has been really, really unlucky based on the expected stats the last 30 days. Tatis, you mentioned, he's already got it going, but the overall numbers just don't reflect it yet. His last 30, 95.1 average EV, 14% barrel rate, 11-degree launch angle, which is much better, 312 XBA, 517 X slug, 378 X WOBA. So,
and I'm pretty sure that coincides almost perfectly with him changing his setup in the box.
Yeah,
he made some mechanical adjustments, opened his swing up, and I think that helps for sure.
This is kind of an aside. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I wonder how things like that happen for hitters, because there was a game recently, like an ESPN game where, I'm forgetting. I think it's Eduardo Perez, right? He does the broadcast on ESPN. He did like this great side-by-side breakdown of like Tatis's swing last year and his swing this year. And it just seems so obvious, right? Like the things change. And he said, I brought this to Tatis and I showed him like, hey man, this was your batting stance last year when you hit for a bunch of power, and this is it now. I just wonder how hitters kind of get in a funk like that and just kind of get so off mechanically. Like,
yeah, well, that's why I'm always hesitant to like offer that kind of solution, because I'm nobody. I'm not like I'm a dummy.
They know infinitely more.
Yeah, like
I get
if
it.
I'm able to figure something out, I guarantee you someone in the Padres front office, someone in that coaching staff is already on top of it. There's no way, no reason to believe that I am ahead of the curve in that way. And so, but these things are hard, and it's hard to make changes mid-season, and it's hard to like you get into a comfort zone, and a hitter can feel good. And like in Tatis's case, he was hitting the ball really hard all the time. So who are you going to tell him like, oh, the ball's just not dropping in is his view. I mean, I assume, but I think it's good that he's already started to make those changes. And I'll be very surprised if Fernando Tatis is not one of the 20 best players in fantasy in the second half.
Some hitters in the mid-tier that I would be looking to buy for the second half. Riley Green, last 30 days, 94.5 average EV, 17% barrel rate. And I think big power is coming here in the summer months. Typically early on in the season, playing in Detroit and some of those like AL Central ballparks, like ball just doesn't travel as well. I do think we could get a big power summer here from Riley Green. And I mentioned William Contreras, the catcher, William Contreras, a few weeks back. And I'm sticking with this one. His ground ball rate is down quite a bit this season. His pulled air rate is up to a career high 18%. So he's another one where, again, as the weather's heating up, juice ball, all this stuff, I could see some big power months coming here from William Contreras as well, even though like catcher is a pretty loaded position.
Yeah, that's the thing I've been struggling with when I'm doing my rankings. Like I don't really want to move William Contreras down. I still have a lot of faith in him, but boy, there's a lot of good catchers out there.
Yeah, I updated the rankings today. I kept him at 4 in my catcher rankings. You have him in the same spot, but
I think in Roto he's 5.
It's loaded, man. It's like,
yeah.
You look at the top. I lowered Cal Raleigh to 10. I
haven't been able to get there yet, but I get it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, dude, Dylan Dingler, breakout season. Hunter Goodman already has like 27 home runs. And
I did move Dylan Dingler ahead of Cal Raleigh a couple weeks ago, which I know is too late for a lot of people, but whatever. I'm slow.
Ivan Herrera, breakout season for him.
Oh yeah, he's been awesome. Yeah.
And then I do have 2 lower end names that I'd be looking to buy as well. Another catcher, right? It's just like, man, catcher's so talented right now. But Gabriel Moreno, he's having a solid season overall, but similar to Contreras, his ground ball rate is down 2 years in a row. And he has a career high barrel rate, and his pulled air rate has been up 2 years in a row. So I do think we can get a big power second half from Gabriel Moreno and Lars Nootbaar, which could be out there in some on the waiver wire still. And I get it. And he's not playing against every lefty, but it's always kind of been the case. But man, like his StatCast stuff and his quality of contact is just really, really good early on. And just kind of wondering, like, is he finally healthy, right? Like he had this surgery that he needed for a while, and maybe it's just finally coming together.
By the way,
like
I just want to mention, Ivan Herrera's 10th in the majors in OBP right now.
10th in the majors.
Yeah.
I think he's like top 30 overall in xWOBA this season.
His walk rate is way up. He has also been hit by a major league high 23 pitches.
That's weird.
Although Sam Antonacci is going to catch up to him. He's already at 17.
Ivan Herrera, 42nd among qualified hitters in xWOBA.
No, he's really good. He's going to have a 2010 season, and I think he could very easily get hot and get to 25 homers, I think.
On the pitcher side, Chris, we don't have as many names as we do for the hitters, but we both landed on the top ace to buy for the second half.
Brian Wu. I think that one's fairly obvious. There's no good explanation for why he's struggled. We have still seen some really, really dominant starts from Brian Wu. He's still doing a really good job of limiting damage on contact. His strikeout rate's a little lower than last year, but it's within 3 percentage points. I don't think that's really a worry. None of the underlying stuff with the pitch mix looks all that concerning. So I think, the 3.32 xERA, that's a lot more like what I expect from Brian Wu moving forward.
Yeah, he was the exact one. I think this is your last chance to buy. I think we could talk about Brian Wu a month from now. His ERA at this moment is 4.17. I think it could be a full run lower than that a month's time from now. Like, he could just get it all the way down. It could be more than a full.
Yeah, I don't know what the math on that is, but it doesn't sound unreasonable to me.
If he goes on a stretch where he has like a sub 2 ERA for 4 or 5 starts, I don't think that would surprise anybody. The home road splits have been really weird this year. I totally get that. If you have Brian Wu, it's been frustrating, but if you don't have Brian Wu, I would try to prey on those who are frustrated by Brian Wu. So yeah, I think we're both in agreement there. The other name I had was just Ian Seymour. I just wanted to give him another shout out. If he just remains in the rotation, I think he could be a really big second half here. And maybe someone we're talking about, pie in the sky, right? If he just remains in the rotation, could be talking about him as like a top 40, top 30 starting pitcher by season's end.
It reminds me of Chris Bubich last year. Lefty, doesn't have big velocity, actually below average velocity. I think Ian Seymour sits around 92 miles per hour, but just the pitch plays up for whatever reason. It's the arm slot or the left-handedness. I think he's pretty good. I do want to add Yuri Perez is another choice here. He's been pretty disappointing this season, and the underlying numbers are not great because he does give up a lot of hard contact in the air. His walk rate has been really, really bad, but he's 23 years old. He's got some of the best stuff in baseball. If you trust any of the stuff metrics he writes out, like right there at the top of the list with anyone. The control's been bad, but it's been much better lately. And I like the fact that he went on the IL at the end of May. I don't like that he went on the IL at the end of May. But I like that since going back, he had started to show much better control the past 2 starts before going on the IL. He goes on this weird 1-start rehab assignment, comes back way sooner than anybody expected, and the control has mostly been pretty good.
And he pitched well in Coors Field,
and he pitched well at Coors Field. The 1 start where the control was bad was at Coors Field. I think that's understandable. So yeah. I continue to think, given how young he is and how good the stuff is, Yuri Perez is going to be an ace at some point. I just, let's bet on it being in the second half, right?
All right. I did have a segment set up here. Chris Towers Appreciation Day for his birthday weekend. I was going to go through some of the players you've been most right about so far this season. I did go through all of your sleepers, breakouts, and busts articles. So
I'm sure there were some real bad calls in there.
Well, we don't have to talk about those. But I think it just starts right at the top. Nobody in the industry, at least from what I saw, put their neck out there more for Yordan Alvarez than you did this year. And that has paid off handsomely.
They were just giving him away. There were 15-team drafts where you could get him in like the 4th round at times this year. It was just,
I passed on him in the 3rd round of TGFBI, and I'm pretty sure you laughed at me the next day.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
It's Hunter Green, who literally got hurt the next day.
Look, there is still there's a lot of season left. He could still get hurt. I think if Yordan Alvarez doesn't play another game, he was worth the pick, given how good he's been so far.
He is the leading AL MVP candidate at this point.
Has to be, yeah.
Although Junior Caminero is making a bit of a run here. Yeah,
Caminero.
We played the full song yesterday, Chris.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
was it 6 games in a row with a homer?
6 games in a row, 9 home runs in his last 8.
That
was before Thursday, which is just crazy stuff. Some other sleepers and breakouts that you've been dead on so far this season: Cade Smith, Chase Burns, Kazuma Okamoto, Parker Messick, Jack Caglione, mostly June, but we'll give that one to you. Ivan Herrera and JJ Weatherholt. Those are all names I saw in your sleepers and breakouts that really good so far. And then busts that you got right so far. Lots of injuries on here, but I didn't read the articles, but I would imagine that like injuries were probably a reason why you were worried about these pitchers.
Very much so, yeah.
Blake Snell, Spencer Strider, Carlos Estevez. I think that was kind of like the free square.
Yeah, it was everybody in the industry.
Luis Robert, who just can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chandler Simpson, who I think you've mostly been right about so far.
Yeah, love it when we say nice things about Chris.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure everyone completely floods Chris this weekend on Twitter, on X, on Blue Sky. Just send him all the birthday wishes. Hitting leftovers. Sal Stewart took the Miz deep, and he's picking things back up. Last 15 games, 300 batting average, 4 homers, 17 RBI, a 928 OPS. Mickey Moniak is getting hot as well. He has homered in 3 straight. Brian Rocchio hit his 6th home run, 3 RBI, a walk-off against Grant Taylor. More on that in a bit. But this was Brian Rocchio's first home run since June 6th. In 21 games in between, he hit 234 with a 597 OPS. So kind of think at 66% rostered, that number is too high for Brian Rocchio. Jordan Walker hit his 19th home run, but we should mention that this is his first home run since June 13th. And in 14 games between homers, he hit 235, 0 extra base hits, 32% strikeout rate, 521 OPS, 53% ground ball rate. Are you worried about Jordan Walker?
Yes and no. Yes, I am worried. No, I'm not worried. No, look, the underlying numbers have gotten worse as the season has gone on. Over the past 100 plate appearances, it's something like a 330 xWOBA, which is still playable, but it's not like he was looking like one of the best players in baseball for a couple of months there. And I don't think he's that. But that's not really a knock on him. If he's a top 50 player in fantasy the rest of the way, that's still a huge win for your fantasy team. So I think you'll take that from Jordan Walker.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it, especially when it's the strikeouts and the ground ball rate that is kind of, climbing up here for Jordan Walker. Those are things that have been issues for him in the past. He went through a stretch in May where he struggled, and then he got back out of it, and he bounced back.
Went crazy, yeah.
So now we need to see him do that again. Like, pitchers are making adjustments to him. We have to see Jordan Walker make that adjustment back. It is – I'm not going to say – I don't think it's completely black and white. We're at a fork in the road where this kind of determines his season. But I could see, if he doesn't get out of this slump soon, that maybe it's kind of extended and maybe he starts to get in his head a little bit. So – would like to see, obviously this is a good game, good first game, but we need to obviously see him get back on track here. That's Jordan Walker. Some pitching leftovers. Chase Burns outdueled Jacob Misiorowski, 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts here. Jacob Misiorowski himself, he looked a little bit more human. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs. Only one of those was earned, but it was still 10 strikeouts to 0 walks. He gave up a 3-run homer after an error that started the inning. And there would have been 3 outs in the inning if it wasn't for that error. So
off 102 mile per hour pitch, by the way.
Who hit that off of him?
Sal Stewart.
Oh, it was that home run?
I believe so, yeah.
I think, no, Sal Stewart hit his in the first inning. So I think it was.
Okay.
There were 2 other players that homered in that game. I think it was TJ Friedl and Jose Trevino.
TJ Friedl did homer today, yeah.
I don't know which one of them hit it off of the Miz, but one of them did.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but. He still has double-digit strikeouts in 7 of 17 starts this year.
He's awesome.
I moved him ahead of Paul Skeens this week, which sounds obvious now, but I don't know.
Yeah, that is not the hardest hit ball or hardest thrown ball that has been hit for a homer. There have been 9 home runs off of pitches 102 miles an hour or harder.
I think Seiya Suzuki hit one off of him last week. That was 102 or 103, something like that.
Doesn't say here that that's happened, but apparently Mason Miller gave up a home run on a 104 mile an hour pitch to someone in 2025. I don't remember that one.
Me neither. And the last leftover here is Nathan Eovaldi, who had a mixed start against the Tigers. 5 innings, 3 runs, 9 strikeouts to 1 walk, 2 homers allowed, 18 whiffs on 85 pitches. You dig into Nathan Eovaldi, Chris, it's kind of a weird season for him because the ERA is elevated, but the strikeouts have been awesome this year. His swinging strike rate is by far a career high, 14.5%. His home runs per 9 are up from 0.7 to 1.6, despite his fly ball rate and his barrel rate being very similar to last year. So I don't really know what to make of the home runs being up for Eovaldi this season.
Yeah, I wanted to see if maybe it's because he's leaning in on the kind of all secondaries approach. His fastball usage is down to 12.5%. It's the lowest of his career.
I think the exit velocity on his splitter is up quite a bit this season.
Yeah, he's given up multiple home runs on all 5 of his pitches, 4 on the splitter, 4 on the cutter, 5 on the four-seamer. So that doesn't really seem to be the explanation. Just maybe the effectiveness hasn't been where you want it to be, but I think on the whole, you're still pretty happy with Nathan Eovaldi. It's just, maybe he's certainly not the 2 ERA guy he was last year. Was it sub 2? I think it was sub 2.
I think I just found the issue. His four-seam fastball this season has a 450 batting average against and a 774 slug.
Yeah, that's bad.
Last year it was 266 and 457.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, I mean, he doesn't throw the fastball very much, but I guess whenever he does, it kind of gets clobbered. The call to the bullpen for the Pirates with a 5-run lead. Gregory Soto got the 8th inning facing the top of the Phillies lineup. He tossed a clean inning, and then it was Mason Montgomery who got the 9th, and he struck out the side to close it out. Mason Montgomery has now closed out 2 of their last 2 wins in a row, I guess, and he's only 3% rostered. If you are speculating on saves or you have Gregory Soto, I think Mason Montgomery is probably the guy to add.
I would also add they were up by 5 by the time he pitched, but they were only up 2 heading into the 8th inning. They scored 2 in the top of the 8th. I think Soto was just lined up to get the hold there. They scored 2 at the top of the 8th. Montgomery was likely already warming up for the 9th anyway when they scored another run in the 9th. So I think that's probably it's speculative, but I think this was lining up for Montgomery to get a save if they hadn't added those.
For the White Sox, Grant Taylor entered in the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. He walked 1, but got out of it, and then he came back out for the 9th. It was a walk, an out, and then a walk-off 2-run homer to Brian Rocchio. This White Sox bullpen is just struggling right now. Grant Taylor's stuff, if you watch him pitch, he's disgusting, and his underlying numbers are fantastic. But lately, whenever he's been given a high leverage opportunity, he hasn't really come through. I was tweeting about this earlier, and some people responded that they think the usage of him trying to go more than 1 inning is kind of what's affecting him, and that could be a possibility. So I would like to see the White Sox just give him confidence, use him in the 9th inning, traditional closer, and let's see what he could do. Stop trying to do the multi-inning save thing with Grant Taylor. Is there anybody else in this bullpen that you would look at right now for the White Sox?
I don't think so. And what's really frustrating about this little slump for Taylor,
he could have ran away with the job by now.
I think it would have been his job if he had just pitched well. Yeah. I think they were ready to do that, and he's just really struggled over the past 2-3 weeks, and so that's been the stumbling block for him.
Yeah. For the Rays, Brian Baker picked up his 22nd save. What a season. 1.89 ERA and a 0.84 whip for him. And for the Mariners, Andres Munoz got the 9th with a 1-run lead. He allowed 3 base runners, but managed to escape with his 16th save of the season. To stream or not to stream on Friday, we have Andre Palante at the Cubs, Trevor Rogers at the Reds, Anthony Kay at the Guardians, Christian Scott at the Braves, Grant Holmes against the Mets, Jake Bennett at the Angels, Luis Castillo against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Bennett, Rogers, Kay. I think Luis Castillo I'd go with over Kay.
Yeah, I like it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Perkins had a good start.
His underlying stuff is really good.
His stuff is good, and it's a Coors hangover game for the Marlins. So wouldn't be surprised if their offense struggled a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely like Bennett, Rogers, Castillo as the top 3. But I could see Perkins and Anthony Kay maybe having some good starts. On Saturday, Zebby Matthews at the Yankees, Jack Flaherty's at the Rangers, Kumar Rocker against the Tigers, Brandon Young at the Reds, Sean Manaea at the Braves, Merrill Kelly against the Brewers.
Boy, I think I like 3 or 4 different guys on Friday more than anyone on Saturday.
Chris, if you were pitching in the majors right now, I would stream you against the Yankees.
I don't think that's true. I'm not built up, so I wouldn't go deep into the games. I've got iffy control. I don't think it would work out. Uh-oh. Did I freeze or did Frank freeze? This is a problem. Okay. Frank is frozen, so I'm going to move on to Sunday, and we will see if we can get Frank in. Sunday's streamers. Eric Fetty at Cleveland, Matthew Liberatore at the Cubs, Javier Assad versus the Cardinals, Aaron Nola at the Royals, Luinder Avila versus the Phillies, Peter Lambert versus the Rays, Brandon Sproat at the Diamondbacks, Ryan Johnson versus the Red Sox. I don't really like any of these guys either. I can't bring myself to trust Brandon Sproat. I can't bring myself to trust Peter Lambert. So I'm going to pass on Sunday. I guess the best option is probably Sproat as a high variance option for this weekend streamers. And we are going to wrap there for myself, for Frank, wherever he is. Thanks as always for tuning into Fantasy Baseball. We'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.